Hey pirates, welcome back. This time, I'm going to share one of my favorite productivity apps of all time, Notion, who's also kind enough to sponsor this video. For those who don't know what Notion is, I consider it one of the best productivity apps of all time. I think of it like this. It's like Evernote, Excel, and Jira on steroids. All the basic stuff you need for personal, collaboration, and project management all in one space. You can create notes, create Excel-like spreadsheets, manage tasks using Kanban boards, and much more. I'm a heavy Notion user myself, and I genuinely love it. But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this because Notion is sponsoring this video. I've been using it since the spring of last year. That's well before I even started my YouTube channel. And I honestly believe that it's a tool that everyone must learn, especially if you're a guy like me who just loves everything that increases productivity and keep myself organized. Notion is also super customizable. You can tailor the tools, put emojis, and stylize them however you want to create your own vibe. And it's also great for team collaboration. You can add other members to the platform to manage notes and projects together. For example, I write my own scripts for all my videos. Whenever I'm done with writing one, I'll share the page with my wife. She'll go through it, review it, and add some comments if necessary. We also leverage the Kanban board to easily manage and keep track of our video schedules. But you might ask, aren't those features available in other apps as well? Well, yes, but the best thing about Notion is that it's all in one place. You don't have to pop from one app to another. And since all this can be done in a browser, you can use any device to manage all your work. Before I share how I use Notion for my day-to-day work, if at any point you get interested in trying it, then you can use the link in the description or the comment below to sign up for it. It's not gonna cost you anything. What's great about Notion is that its personal plan, which includes every features in the paid plans, is free. But I would appreciate it if you use my link instead of Googling it because, well, then it gets contributed to me, and what's wrong with that? I mean, right? I mean, I love Notion, so please give them a reason to love me back. Alright, let's get started. There are so many things you can do with Notion, but in this video, I'm going to focus on how I use one of the best features of Notion, the database. A database in Notion is so powerful, pragmatic, and cool that I honestly think that everyone must learn how to use it. To illustrate, I'm going to share my 4 Notion database setups. They are 1. List of all the movies I watched. 2. My YouTube video Kanban board for managing my video schedule. 3. My YouTube script page for managing video production. Lastly, 4. The extra incomes page for managing my financials. So let's start with the simplest one, the list of movies. My wife and I like to watch movies together, and we've been keeping track of all the movies we watched together, but I kept the list in the default note app of my phone. When I first learned about Notion and realized how easy it is to create a shared space for things like these, I told her, you know what? We should migrate the list to Notion. So here it is. Now we manage all the movies we've watched so far in a Notion database. For each movie we watch, I will create a page recording stuff like when we watched it, who watched it, and what its genre is. In the end, I'll upload an image of the movie's poster in the notes section so that it becomes a nice looking card when I view it as a gallery. You can do other interesting stuff like turn it into a calendar to quickly gain an insight into how many movies you watched in a month and when. Group the movies by genres to see which genre you watched the most, and turn it into a table if you just want to see the raw data. What's cool about Notion database is that you can even apply filters and sorts. For example, you can add a condition to filter the movies by genre, or add a rule to sort them by watch date. Pretty cool, right? Next up, how I manage my YouTube video schedules with Notion's powerful Kanban boards. Let me first shout out to Ali Abdal, my inspiration, for sharing this template. I customized it a little to suit my taste, but I got the idea off of him. You can also see that I named each of my video a star instead of just a video. That's because I imagined releasing a new video to be equivalent to releasing a star in the sky. It might not be the brightest star of all, but that does not mean it's not glowing, right? Anyways, there's a field in this database called status that indicates the stage of the production the video is in. You can simply change the status within the page itself, but a better and a cooler way to do it is to leverage the Kanban board by just dragging the page around. That's right, the database can also be a Scrum board. This way, my wife and I can take a look at the board together, share the status, and manage the schedule efficiently together. As a YouTuber, this is the page that I use the most often. If there was Notion when I was a student, I would definitely have used it to keep track of my assignments, homework, and exams. Next, let me show you how I use Notion to film my Squid Game videos. For example, here is the scenario. As you can see, I used another database to manage my script, this time as a table. But how does a database help in this case? You see, if you recall from my Squid Game videos, there are at least 6 different characters in the films, 4 players, 1 guard, and Alexa. And during filming, the script gets really difficult to manage when there are multiple characters and only 1 actor. So what I've done is for each scene, designate a character and add a Boolean field to indicate whether it's been filmed or not. What is the benefit of doing all this? Remember the filter I mentioned earlier? That's right. You can filter the scenes by character. For example, let's say I want to see only 200 C# lines. There you go. Let's see Alexa's lines only. Here they are. Lastly, our favorite 220 Python. Boom. As we know already, 220 doesn't say much but simply smiles. After I finish filming a scene, I would simply check this box off to indicate that I no longer have to worry about it. You can use the bottom row and the film column to calculate the film completion rate. Lastly, let me show you how I manage my extra incomes. I can't show you the exact numbers, so I created a database that looks similar to what I used originally. It's simple. Let's say I made some profit by selling some stocks, and the amount is reflected on the amount column. As soon as I put the numbers in, notice how the table calculates the tax and balance or after-tax amount automatically. Not only that, you can configure the bottom row to automatically calculate the total amount. Like I mentioned earlier, Notion database is like Excel on steroid. When the tax season comes, I can simply refer to this page to see my taxes due and make an offering to the government. One last thing, notice the long-term column here. It's used to indicate whether the stock I sold qualifies for a long-term capital gain or not. In simple words, it means you pay less taxes when you sell the stocks after holding them for more than a year. Do you see how my taxes change depending on whether long-term is checked or not? That's because I programmed the tax column to depend on it. For example, if long-term is checked or true, the table reduces the tax liability to say 15%. If not, or false, it'll be taxed at say 25%. So if you know some coding, you can get even more creative with Notion. Alright guys, today I shared some of my Notion setup, how I use it to increase my productivity, manage my tasks, and basically keep everything organized in one single location. How do you guys like it? Do you think I'm making an effective use of the app? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't used Notion yet but found it to be interesting, give it a try. But when you do, don't forget to use my link to sign up for it, because again, why not? Anyways, I hope you guys liked my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.